1, 2, 3. Microphone. It works. All right. Not working. It's weird. Hey, Reaper's Edge. What's up, average person? I'm gonna finish making my coffee real quick. One sec. I'll be right. I'll be right back. And then let's see, split pane. Sorry, I don't mean to. I'm gonna go turn my water on. It's probably ill-advised to brew coffee at your desk, but that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, water kicked off. Good morning, Ilmanian. Good to see you guys. Good morning, Anonymous Panda. Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna try to make this coffee without spilling it all over my desk.
Average_person32 is telling you to drink some coffee.
Oh, well, that's easy because I have coffee to drink while I brew my other coffee. Oh, whoops, I gotta update that. Sorry. I always forget to do that. Let's see. Nifty Nomad, I love this channel. Oh, thanks very much, man. That's really kind of you to say. I don't know if it's a good channel, but it is mine. Let's see. Working on building a TUI for stream chat. And then we have to put the doing command. There we go. Sorry, forget to update that. Geez, thought I had you for a sec. What did you say? Oh, because of the caffeinate? No, I plan ahead. I've got coffee for brewing coffee. I'm prepared. Like a Boy Scout. I was actually never a Boy Scout. Alright, we can take the BRB sign off. Okay. Get it organized here. Alright, so who's here? Amanian's here, Anonymous Panda's here, Gunhighs is here. Good morning, Gunhighs. Love the topic of the stream, creating a user interface for Temple OS. That's brave, man. No, not a user interface for Temple OS. A terminal user interface. Which actually is deceptively not easy to do. I found a really nice framework that I've been using called Termina that I've been using to build this TUI, and it's a I mean, for .NET, I think it might be the best that's out there right now. There's only 2 or 3 libraries out there in .NET to do this kind of stuff, and the Termina one might be the best one I found so far. Spectre Console is very good, but Spectre Console lacks some functionality that you'd want in a TUI. It's great if you're just building a console app, but if you're building a TUI, it's a little difficult to use. Good morning, Toad Sage. How are you doing? A terminal user interface for Temple OS? Very brave. No user interfaces for Temple OS. Why .NET? Because you're using Windows? Oh no, I just love .NET. .NET's cross-platform. It works everywhere now. You can use it Mac, Linux, Windows. I just like it. I like C# a lot as a language. What can I say? Guess I'm a shill for Microsoft. Seeing Steven stream at this hour definitely took me by surprise. Well, that's because I stayed up till 3 a.m. last night working on this TUI. So when 4 o'clock came this morning, when my 4 o'clock alarm came this morning, I said, "Nope, I'm just gonna sleep in." Good morning, Toad Sage. It's nearly midnight for me. Oh, nice. It's 9:45 a.m. for me. What's the difference between IIS and Casper? I've never used either of those things. I know, I mean, I'm familiar with what ISS is, but I've not used Casper. Or are you saying Kestrel? Oh, Kestrel. Yep. So Kestrel is the more modern um, server. IIS is kind of old. That's all. I mean, that's the only real differences I know about it is like they're both web servers. IIS is kind of legacy, and Kestrel is new. But I am happy to be educated on more detailed differences if anybody knows. I've also been up all night. Nice. Well, welcome to the party. I do not know why, but I really get excited and motivated when I see your live. Well, that's very kind of you to say, Make It Auto. Yeah, I'm just a 32-year-old dad who's trying to get to retirement, and it's fun to pass the time by writing code and chatting with other people who are into writing code, and good way to spend the time. All right, I think I'm almost done with it. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna go take this to the trash real quick, and then we'll have at it. Okay. Hello, NG Tontai. Yo, it's crazy. Life in jungle in Nepal. You're in Nepal, sweetheart? That's crazy. I have a 2 week and a 3-year-old. Sleeping is a foreign concept to me. You're in it, man. That actually is almost, well, not 2 weeks old. My brother is kind of in a similar situation. My brother has like a 3-year-old basically, and then like a 3-month-old. We just visited them over spring break, and they are in it. I'm not jealous of those times. I'm glad they're over. It's kind of unbelievable, actually, how difficult sleep deprivation makes everything in life like orders of magnitude more difficult when you're sleep deprived. Particularly regulating your emotions is pretty difficult. Bro, I want to know how can you jump from Go to Rust to C Sharp? It's been picking my brain for a good week now. How? Well, I'm not saying I do it particularly well, and I definitely take a hit on productivity when I do it. Um, but it's fun. It's just fun. It's interesting. Like when I read books, I don't know about you guys, but like I find with readers, there's like two types of readers. There's like the reader who starts a book and can't start another one until they finish it. And then there's readers who sort of like read multiple books at the same time based on kind of whatever the vibes are. That's the kind of reader I am. And I'm like that with a lot of my side projects where some days I just don't feel like working on a particular side project, but I still want to write code. So it's nice to have something else to work on, right? Because to me, what's important is putting in the time and the reps and getting better at writing code and building software. So I don't want to give up the opportunity to do that on a day just because I don't feel like working on that particular thing that day. So it's nice to have multiple things going on. Nice t-shirt. Oh, you like this? This is Kansas City DevOps Days. I think this was 2 years ago. If you're in the Kansas City area, it's actually coming up in May this year. They're doing it as a part of Community Days. So DevOps Days. So if you're around this area, you should come and participate. I think it's May. Let's see. Are we even on here? Yeah, we are. May 28th and the 29th. I'll be there. So if you want to come hang out, that would be awesome. Let's see. If you are around the KC area, come to DevOps Days. My stepdaughter turned 12 yesterday. Wow, dude. It goes by fast, don't it? My oldest is 10, and I honestly can't believe it. I always joke with my wife that we're basically halfway done with parenting now. Because my youngest is 8 and my oldest is 10, or gonna be 10. So it's basically like we're almost over the halfway point. If you think of it like, the number one ultimate goal is like get the kid grown and healthy and through high school. I mean, you're always going to be their parent, but you just want to set them up so they can take on life for themselves. Do you think it's easier for a native English speaker to learn a programming language than for a non-native speaker because you have a more profound understanding of the terminology used? I'm sure it helps some, but it seems like there's a lot of non-native English speakers who are really good programmers. So I don't think it really. I mean, I think it probably helps when you're in the beginning of your journey writing code, right? If you're already an English speaker, but I don't think it sets a ceiling, right, or like changes the trajectory. And that's purely based on like a lot of people I follow online who I look at their code and I'm like, wow, this is better code than I'll probably ever write in my life. They're not they're not native, or to my knowledge, they're not native English speakers. So I don't think it hinders you. It probably helps you, but I don't think it hinders you. Gunheist would love so, but from Europe, it's a long way. Ah, yes. Yeah, I never know where everybody is, but if you are local, definitely would love to hang out with you at DevOps Days. I'll be at DevOps Days, and I'll also be at the Kansas City Developer Conference, which is the bigger one that happens in Kansas City every year. That's in September. Eventually, I'd like to travel to some conferences. I'd like to go to .NET Conf. If they ever host a live in-person one, I'd like to go to Microsoft Build. There's also some NDC conferences that I watch videos of online that look like good conferences. They're just pretty far away from me. I'd like to make an excuse to like do vacation, but also attend a conference. So like mix them. How, when these words and concepts are clearly defined? I don't know what you're talking about, Raghura Jaram, sorry. Reaper's Edge, man, that's crazy thinking. What's crazy thinking? That dude sound like he looking for an excuse. Oh, are you talking about the? I don't think he's a nifty nomad. I don't think he's looking for an excuse. I think he's just curious what my thoughts were. Reaper's Edge, but there's other languages for codes though. For sure. But are there languages that aren't? I honestly don't know. That I'm completely incompetent. Are there languages that are written in non-English languages? Good morning, Rookley. Good to see you. It's good to see you, Artwork Studios. Comps are too expensive for what they offer if your company isn't paying for it. I think that's valid unless you just really enjoy the shit, which I just really enjoy it. I used to pay out of my own pocket to go to fitness conferences when I was in the fitness industry, and I'll happily pay out of my own pocket to go to tech conferences. I love it. It's for me it's like entertainment. It's yeah, I don't know. I guess if you don't really enjoy it, then yeah, it's a means to an end. It's probably not worth spending your own money. Coding in another language? Yeah, like Chinese Python, for example. Oh, interesting. I've never heard of that. Again, you know, I'm just a lonely, not a lonely, but I'm just a 32-year-old married dad in Kansas, so I don't know everything about everything. Let's see, Chinese Python. Chinese Python is a sort of translation work of the Python language into Chinese. Not only the interpreter's user messages, errors, warnings, but also the language itself, i.e. keywords, variable names, built-in functions, and type methods. Very interesting. Yeah, I did not know stuff like this existed. I imagine it's a lot of work to build something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't go to a conference now unless it was free. I don't think I'd get enough out of it. Oh, that's totally fair. Yeah, to each his own on that. But I think my stream just disconnected from Twitch. Sorry, Twitch. See if it comes back online. There we go. We're back on Twitch. Sorry about that. What was I? Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, Twitch went down. Sorry, Dota. Sorry about that. YouTube too, apparently. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. My bad. Sometimes I have bad luck with my internet connection. Sometimes I go weeks without an issue, and then other weeks I have intermittent connectivity issues all the time. I love conferences too, would love to go, but man, I'm too broke to do so. Plus, parents won't allow. That's fair. Yeah, if you're young and you don't have the money, I totally get it, man. But for me, I think it's worth it. I think a lot of conferences, the thing that makes them, I mean, that's one of the benefits of being near a big city is there's a couple of conferences I can go to here in Kansas City, but you know, it's difficult when the conferences are far away because travel like really adds up, you know? It really does. Like when you factor in like your hotel, driving or flying, renting a car if you necessary, like that drives up the cost of attendance a lot. A lot. All right, why does this not work? So this worked last night. So what did I break? Let's see. Let's rename this one to bottom. Good morning, Inspire. Reaper's Edge. I love your terminal. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I stole a lot of the setup from Scott Hanselman. There's a good video on Scott Hanselman's website that's walks you through like setting up a pretty killer PowerShell prompt and stuff. And then I've just sort of iterated on it over the last 2 or 3 years. Originally when I started development, I really didn't spend much time or really cared too much about the terminal. And then like 3 years ago, I discovered Oh My Posh, and then I discovered Scott Hanselman, and then I watched that video, and then I've kind of gone all in on making the terminal a pleasant place to be, you know. I'm a big believer in making your tools that you use to do your work enjoyable to work with, because I think that makes you want to work more, or to not work more in the sense of like work for your company more, work more as in spend more time doing the thing that you want to be doing. I think it makes it more enjoyable, like having a nice mechanical keyboard, right? Or having a nice computer setup, right? All these things I think go into encouraging you to spend time on the thing you enjoy. Make that the terminal. OMW, you aren't supposed to assign tickets to developers at the start of a sprint. Hold on, that phrase. I don't know. What did I break? Yeah, what did I break? Exactly. I I definitely broke something. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? Give me a break. Yeah, I think I'll use Neovim for this. Oh my wonder. Oh. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Dota. Did I miss something? Best UI is having no UI at all. Yo, Steven, what's your tech stack for building a web application? Have you checked out Blazor WebAssembly? So I have checked out Blazor WebAssembly. The part of Blazor WebAssembly that I really hate, Rookley, is the loading. When you first load a WebAssembly client, there's like this wait time where you have to download the binary, and I really hate that experience. So I've largely, whenever I use Blazor, I usually just use Blazor Server. The only downside of using Blazor Server is the persistent WebSocket connection, which looks ugly sometimes when your site if there's a disconnection or you deploy your site while a user's on your site, they get a loading icon. It's not particularly pretty, but I prefer that over the WebAssembly experience. And I know the WebAssembly download only happens once, like when you first visit the site, but still, I just don't care for it. As far as building a web application these days, if I'm going to build a web application, 9 times out of 10, it'll be a front end in Vue and a back end in .NET. I really enjoyed conferences like 10 years ago, which was in my early 30s. Oh, nice. Very cool. So yeah, I'm about that age. So maybe it'll change. Maybe in another 10 years I'll be on a stream saying how much I hate conferences. Can you give us a better site to upgrade our coding skills? Gitahun, I think it largely depends on like what type of skills you're trying to, I guess, upskill. If you're a .NET developer, I would point you at domtrain.com, DOMETRAIN.com. There's a YouTuber named Nick Chopsis, and that's his educational company, and they have really good .NET courses. If you're in like the beginner phase of learning to code, then I would point you at Free Code Camp. And then the one site that I haven't tried, but I'm very curious about, and I'm halfway considering spending some time on stream going through the courses there, is boot.dev. I'm very curious about them. And I've heard good things about them, but I just have never actually used their site. So, good morning, Thobison. Good morning, Root Monsters. It's been a minute, Root Monsters, so nice to see you again. Also, Stephen, how have you been doing lately? I feel as if I haven't got anything meaningful done. I've been feeling good. Yeah, no complaints here. Where can I find inspiration for meaningful projects to do? So, I'm sure people who have hung out my streams before are probably going to get tired of me saying this, but like, the place that I find inspiration for projects, particularly ones that I care about, is my own problems. So, and maybe they're not even problems, like maybe they're just things that I would use. So, for example, the thing I'm going to work on today for a little bit and that I stayed up way too late working on last night is a TUI for terminal based chat from a stream. So, the idea behind it is basically it's not working right now. So, bear with me. But the idea behind it is basically that you can load up a screen in your terminal, and connect to the chat for a given Twitch stream and a given YouTube stream, kind of like I have over here on the right side of my screen. If you're not on Twitch, you can't see it, but basically to provide like a unified chat experience, but in the terminal. And you might say like, well, that's stupid. I mean, it's all in the eye of the beholder. In my opinion, it's been a really fun, challenging project and given me the opportunity to learn about building TUIs. And then two, I'm going to have a piece of software at the end of the day that I want to use. So that's my advice for finding inspiration for projects, is like looking around in my life and trying to think of like problems I have or tools that I would enjoy using and learning more about. And then I spend time building those. Get a thanks. Of course, yeah. Yeah, always happy to try to point people in the right direction when it comes to the learning stuff. I would avoid anything that has to do with AI right now, though. Don't buy courses on AI stuff. I think that's largely a grift. The one person I will say that I would recommend, and I haven't bought the course, but I really enjoy his content, is Web Dev Cody. Web Dev Cody has an agentic development course that he's been marketing and promoting, and I would totally think that if you're interested in that type of thing, maybe watch some of his content and see how he works. And if you're interested in working that way, I think his stuff would be interesting. But I think largely a lot of the AI stuff is kind of grifty, and the vast majority of it won't be relevant in another year or 2 years. It just, that whole area is moving too fast for someone to really be an authority on it. Janier's life. I'm not a streamer, but I love the idea. Nice, very cool. Started getting into coding after graduating, found your YouTube shorts, and was enjoying your insight and personality, so I just decided to follow you here. Finally caught you live. Oh, well, very cool. Thank you for following. That's very nice of you, Excidium. Bob Knowles definitely going to like this term chat. Yeah, I think he will whenever I get it working. It was working last night. I had it working where it was actually, I was using it, I was watching Burt Peanut. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's a streamer, and I was watching his stream, and I was using his stream chat to test this, and that was fun. So let me see if I can get it, back to the way I had it last night. We need to go to our provider, Twitch provider. And so all we're going to do is, I'm just going to go here, go to implementation, and instead of filtering it to my streams, we're going to do, let's see, request. Let's put the user login in a variable. Var discard user login, and let's see, remove this. I wonder if that URL, if escaping that is causing an issue. Okay, and then we should be able to go back here, close that, run this again, and this time hopefully we'll see a list. Oh, you know what it is? I just realized what it is. Hold on. I should be able to test it with my own stream, actually. I just realized what the problem is. The problem is that I have yet to implement refreshing my access token. So my access token, I think, is actually stale on disk. So we need to do term chat token. And then let's try to run this again. And then we'll auth to, so we'll do connect to Twitch. And we connected successfully. Now let's go back to the streams. There we go. So this is my stream. And so theoretically, I should be able to select it and enter it. And then hopefully if Dota sends another message, we'll see it come through here. Twitch's many APIs are a huge mess, not architecturally interesting in my... There you go. And then let's see if we can connect YouTube. It works. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works with my stream bot. So let's do links. Hey, there you go. It works. Nice. Very cool. So then let's try to connect to YouTube. Alt 2? No. How do I get back? I don't even know how to use my own. It's escape, I think. So escape to disconnect.
Did we just become best friends?
Bootleg Shot, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. It's very kind.
Bootleg Shot is reminding you to hydrate.
Thank you very much. Dobson, any reason why .NET instead of Go for this? Seems like perfect case for Go. You could definitely use Go. Go has a really nice TUI library called Bubble Tea that I've used before. I just wanted to build it in C#. I just really enjoy working in .NET and C#, and I had never built something like this in .NET before. So I really wanted to experiment with it. But you could definitely do something like this in Go. It probably would be, actually, it might be easier in Go with using Bubble Tea, because the library that I found for this is actually a pretty new experimental framework. It's not even to a 1.0 release yet. Like they had a bit in the middle of me developing this, actually, they had a huge breaking change where they moved from system.reactive to R3, which is another observable library. And so I had to change a bunch of stuff and that. So it probably would be easier to do in Go, but what can I say? I'm a .NET fanboy, you know? Okay, so I don't see my YouTube chat or my YouTube stream. I don't know why. Might have to figure that out, troubleshoot that. But I'm just glad it works for Twitch. We're halfway there. But yeah, the idea is then you'll be able to see a unified experience, which is what this tab is. And then there'll be a Twitch only chat, and then there'll be a YouTube only chat. And it's largely inspired by SpeakerBot. So if you've ever used, if you're on Twitch, you can see my horizontal chat over here. It's largely inspired by that same functionality. I just wanted to bring it into the terminal. Okay, YouTube is not selected. That's fine. Let's go back. And let's try to figure out why my YouTube stream is not showing up. Dota. Oh, sorry, Dota. I just disconnected from it. I use Bubble Tea for my TUI project. Yeah, Bubble Tea's awesome, isn't it? It's like such a cool little library. The only thing I built with Bubble Tea is this application. It is called, this application, also term related, is called Term Tier. And you can do tier rankings. You know, have you seen those people that do videos with like S tier, A tier, B tier, right? So I was like, okay, that would be cool to bring that into the terminal, because everything needs to happen in the terminal. So that's Bubble Tea's awesome for that. Have you tried LazyVim? I have. So I actually use LazyVim. That is my package manager, right? Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about something different? Like Lazy the package manager, or is it something different? Oh, you're probably talking about the like the quick start, right? Are you talking about this thing? Oh, the Neo. Yeah, this is like there's another one called Kickstart, right? These are all kind of in the same vein, where they're supposed to be kind of a a done for you configuration out of the box. So I haven't used it. I followed a course on YouTube called Neovim for Noobs. That is what originally got helped me get my Neovim configured, and then I've just kind of iterated on my own configurations over time. They're definitely not perfect, but they're mine, and I'm happy with them right now. All right. So we need to see whenever we fetch the streams from YouTube, we need to see why we're not getting. So here's where we get live broadcasts. So we need to figure out why we are not seeing why we're not seeing these show up. So we have broadcast type all, broadcast status active. Okay, so I'm going to use the YouTube API Explorer to troubleshoot this a little bit. So there's a YouTube Data API Explorer. Let's see. This is live broadcast. Let's see, list by channel, list by, nope, that's not what I want. Videos maybe, list. YouTube live broadcast endpoints. Broadcast streams. There we go. This is the one I want to try. Try it now. Okay. So Neovim for Noobs sounds good for me. Yeah, Neovim for Noobs is really good. There's a YouTuber who's a better YouTuber than me called Typecraft. Here, I'll link it. I'll link his stuff in chat. Let's see, Typecraft. Yeah. He also has a Linux for Noobs course on there that looks pretty good. Let's see, this one. View whole playlist. How do I share this? Copy. Yeah. So let's see. If you are interested in Neovim, this is pretty good starter. I will say there is one thing about that playlist that's a little outdated, is how it has you set up language servers. There's a new version of Neovim now that doesn't need mvim LSP. So the language server setup used to be kind of like a separate plugin, and now there's a native LSP API in Neovim that you're supposed to use. So some of the exact configs in that course are not 100% right, but you should be able to Google your way to how to migrate. And there's also my Neovim configs, if you're ever interested, are here. Neovim. And you can use those as a reference too. It's a fun side quest. I don't think everyone needs to do it. I'm not saying everyone needs to be a Neovim user, but if it's something you're interested in and you think it looks like fun and you like developer tools and you like spending some of your time tinkering with developer tools, I think it's a fun way to spend your time. I'm doing a lot of side quests trying to get into tech or coding or tech. So I'm all over the place trying to learn and absorb. Hey, that's the way to do it. That's how I got involved, man. So more power to you. Thank you for the links. Of course. Yeah, of course. Not saying everyone needs to be a Neovim user. Blasphemy. Shame. 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 I have to admit, I was using VS Code yesterday for most of the day at work. And I do love Neovim, man, but Vim motions with VS Code makes for a wonderful experience. Dota 2, JetBrains. Oh, I love JetBrains. Yeah, I like Rider. That's the only IDE from them that I've really used, or editor. I tried to use WebStorm for a little bit. They also had a they also released a editor that was specifically aimed at QA professionals called, what was it called? I want to say Aqua. I don't know, that maybe that's not right. Yeah, Aqua. Yeah, and they kind of just, it didn't really gain much ground, and I guess they sunsetted it. But I tried that one for a little bit. They make good stuff, man. They make good products. Okay, I've been trying to make an exploratory API call for 10 minutes now. So we want snippet, status, and then we want active, I think, right? Active, and then we want all. Okay. So this should be the equivalent call I'm making in my code. So let's try execute. We've got to authenticate. Okay, so I see total results 1, results per page is 5, so that's right. So I wonder, why isn't my code getting that response? Let's see. Let's do a quick write to the file system. We'll do a wait, write, let's do a pin all text async test.txt. Let's do a wait response.content.read as a string. We'll pass the cancellation token so it don't yell at me. It's still yelling at me. What? Why? Oh, as stream, sorry. That should be as string. There you go. For the cancellation token, I am. Oh, no, I'm not. Alright, let's give this another test and see what response this application is getting. Because there definitely should be one. Good to see you, Jonathan Mitchell. Hope you're doing good. I am doing good. Yeah, it's Saturday. My family's upstairs chilling. My boys are playing video games. I think my wife's reading. And I'm down in the basement just tinkering with my adult Legos. That's what I refer to this now as adult Legos. Since software engineering is dead, apparently, and you can't actually make a living when you know how to code. Alright, let's see what that wrote to the disk. 403, YouTube data API has not, oh, I forgot to enable it. Whoopsies. That's easy enough, I can fix that. That's a quick fix. Let's see, console, cloud, console. I need to add some logging, don't I? That way I don't have to write random files to disk to debug stuff. How did you learn? Did you go to college or self-taught? So I did go to college, but you can actually see this is my degree over here up on the wall, kind of behind chat. I went to Missouri Southern State University in Joplin, Missouri, and I got a degree in biochemistry. And I worked as a food scientist for 6 years, something like that. Then after my kids were born, I was tired of working so much. That job was pretty demanding, and so I wanted something that was like more kind of banker hours, you know. And I ended up making a switch into a support
Did
role
we just
for a
become
tech
best
company.
friends?
Raul, thanks for the sub. I ended up making a change into a support role for a tech company, and then as I was working there, I just kind of slowly upskilled myself and took on whatever opportunity that got me closer to writing code for a living. I like volunteered, even if it meant I was doing my normal day-to-day work and this other work. Um, and that luckily eventually has led me to actually have a job where I actually get paid to write code, which is awesome. All right, so I have to go to the console, and I have to go to the what is it, API and services, and then I have to go to enable APIs and services, YouTube data API, and I have to enable it. Okay, it's enabled, so let's give this thing another try, yeah? Actually, I probably didn't need to restart it. Hey, looky there. Okay, let's connect to both. And then I think I push enter. Oh, I see a bug in the, there's like extra padding down here. I don't know where it's coming from. All right, someone type something. Hi, chat. Hey, there you go. It works. That's awesome. I love how I wrote the code, and I'm surprised by the fact it works. Does that ever go away? I don't think it ever goes away. And then I should be able to filter to just the different, if I do alt, this is the kind of code I want to be able to write. This is so neat. It is neat, man. And it honestly, this isn't the hard, so the hardest part of this was the gRPC for YouTube. So you have two ways of getting YouTube chat. You can either do polling or you can have a server connection. But if you do the server connection, you have to use gRPC, which means you have to use protobuf, which is kind of a messy thing, in my opinion, to do. I don't think the experience is very good. But you have to copy this proto definition, and then you have to add some. Each language is a little different. So this is how it works for .NET, but most of them follow this like flow. You have to have this separate set of protobuf tools that take the protobuf definition and generate the code for your gRPC client to connect to YouTube. That was probably the most difficult thing to figure out, because I mean obviously that could also be a skill issue because I haven't used gRPC very much, but yeah, okay, it works. So let's try filtering. So if we go to Twitch, we should see only Twitch. Now someone on YouTube send a message. You hear now we make it a SAS? No, don't. No SAS. Okay, so then if we go back to the unified chat, we should still see YouTube messages that came in while we were looking at Twitch. So there's actually 3 streams of chat. There's a Twitch stream, a YouTube stream, and a unified stream. And that way, if you're viewing one, when chat messages come in, you still see it on the other one. Let's see. I'll try it myself. Yeah, so RWorks, if I switch back to unified, oops, RWorks Studio should be there. Yep, there he is. Okay, cool. It works. Dude, I'm so happy. This is the first time I've gotten to try it on my own streams. I've been testing it on other people's streams, but Oh, dude, I'm so happy about this. Okay, so I like this. This is cool. It works. You can also scroll. So see a tab. I should be able to do whenever the chat gets too long. I should eventually be able to scroll. Good morning, Inderesh. Strange time. Rampla. Oh yeah, because I stayed up too late building or putting some touches on this TUI that I've been building for the last couple months. I stayed up till like 3 a.m. So I did not get up at my normal 4:15 time. This is basically CS class for me. Google gRPC. Yeah. It sounds fancier than what it is. Need to highlight members in green. Oh, that's a good idea. Hold on. Oh, Bob's here. So let me. Bob, have you been here for a little bit? Good morning. Sorry, I missed your message, Bob. Let me take some notes. Okay, I want. Hold on. I want to try the scrolling to make sure the scrolling works. Yep, that works. I also want to admit, because I don't want people to think I'm smarter than what I am. The scrolling chat list here, this piece of it, this is largely someone else's code. Because the Termina framework, this thing right here, it provides this component called streaming text node that does a lot of this. It abstracts a shit ton of complexity that you'd have to do if you implement it yourself. So again, I'm not a crazy good developer. I'm just putting Lego pieces together. Okay, let's open a new terminal chat. Bob said we need to highlight members in green. I think that's a good idea. So let's take some notes here. Term chat ideas. Make members, or let's see, it's YouTube members and Twitch subscribers different colors. Perhaps green. Cool. All right, so I know this works now, so that's good. I don't like, for whatever reason, there's a space here. And I don't know why that is. Chat page. We're looking for YouTube. Is that not here? Should be here somewhere. There should be like a build status. Build tab label. There you go. Build status bar. There's scroll mode. Connecting. Platform name. Yeah, why is there extra space here? Okay. Let's disconnect. Okay, there's a bug too, because I can't disconnect. Yeah, have a good time doing homework, Arwesius. Thanks for stopping by. Maybe emote integration in Twitch. Yeah, that would be cool. I don't know how you would do that in the terminal, though. I don't know how you render emotes. Can you even do that? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. There we go. That looks better. I guess I could add a little bit of padding. No, I'm okay with it displaying like that. What TUI are you building? I'm trying to build my own little stream chat client that I can use when I stream. Kind of, just a different look for my stream. I do so much in the terminal that I thought, you know what? We should also view chat in the terminal. This is the first TUI I've ever built, and I'm using .NET, and I'm using a library called Termina. And so far, it's taken me a long time. I started this project. Oh my God, I started this project so long ago, like months ago. And today is the first time I've gotten it to a point where I could actually test it on stream with my actual chat. I like this. Not everything needs a GUI. Yeah. Now everything needs a TUI. I guess that's one thing we have to thank AI for is AI really brought back the TUI, right? As a thing. It made TUIs great again. Good morning, Flyfisher. Sorry I missed your message. You should let members choose highlight color, to be honest. Yeah, we could do that. Bob said green, so we'll just make them green. Did you finish? No, physical S is that we will return to that. So that is going to monopolize stream. Once I get my first invoice from Plaid, we will go back to physical S. It is working, so I can actually see my transactions coming in from my bank account out in production. So it is working, but I don't have all my accounts connected yet. And the reason they're not all connected yet is because I want to confirm how much it costs to have one connected. Plaid tells me it's 30 cents, but I'm just validating that with actual real world usage. And I still haven't got my invoice yet from them. I'm hoping it comes sooner rather than later. But no, I haven't finished it. Physical OS is still in progress. Good morning, Ryan. Oh, it displays just no emote? Oh, yeah. I wonder if there's a way I could indicate that it's an emote or something. I'm not sure how I would render that little guy in a terminal, you know? Maybe if it's a Twitch emote, it just won't display in the terminal. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. I'd have to do some research. I don't know a ton about rendering stuff in terminals. I understand that that's a field you can like get a PhD in, I guess. It's a very complicated, much more complicated, I guess, than what it appears. So I would have to do some research. I'm just happy that it works the way it works right now. I mean, honestly, this would be good enough for me at this point. The one thing I do want to change though is the account page no longer really looks good, if I'm being honest. Because it doesn't align. Also, the escape key is not going back. And I don't know why. That's another bug. So why is that happening? So the account page just doesn't really look right with all the other things. So I think I need to think I need to redo the account page. I think what I want to do is I think I want to take the account page and turn it into a list. But yeah, I'm happy with where we're at. So let's try to tackle some of the issues. So the first issue is can't disconnect from streams once connected. For whatever reason, that's not working anymore. It was working yesterday. Okay, it does seem to work for a time. But then it seems to die after a period of time. Say hello, hi. This is really meta. Streaming so that I can test building a tool to use while streaming. Okay, and then if I hit escape, okay, so maybe it's if I have two streams connected that breaks. Yes, okay, so if two streams are connected, I can no longer exit, okay? So what is the difference? Disconnect. That's what I have registered to the escape key. So escape should be handle escape. If viewModel is scrollMode.value, then viewModel.toggle scroll mode, else disconnect. Why did I add okay, so theoretically, and then what does disconnect do? Disconnect calls viewModel and then navigates. Disposes of the description, and then for each one, it disconnects from the client, clears the chat clients, and then is connected.value is set to false, which should is connected is what we listen for. Yeah, is connected is what we listen for. It's almost like it's not hitting the navigation, and I don't know why. So right now I'm hitting escape. So what should be being called is disconnect. And it looks like it is. Cake links. Hey Steven, how's the coding going? It's going good. Yeah, we're having fun. Coolest way to read stream chat I've ever seen. I'm not just using a separate window for the chat. TUI looks good. Yeah, it should be fun to use, I think. Dune, how's the streaming going? It looks like your stream is growing since I first stumbled upon you. I think the stream's growing. I mean, I try not to worry too much about the numbers and stuff because honestly, streaming and content creation in general right now is more of a pastime than anything. I just kind of come to the place where it's like, if I'm gonna be at my desk tinkering with this stuff, why not also share it with other people, you know, who also might be interested in what I'm doing? And I also learn a lot from streaming. Like a lot of times I get introduced to things through chat, which is nice. Okay, so I am disconnected. I'm just not navigating because that chat did not come through. So I am disconnected, but we're not navigating back to stream. Do you think coding as a human will still be a thing in 20 years? I mean, it will be for me because I just enjoy doing it. I guess what you're probably asking, Kiko Shadow, is more in the realm of, do I think it'll be like a career, like people can do it professionally? My belief is that I think humans are always going to be in the loop. Um, what those humans do to build software might look different over time, you know. Uh, Especially but a lot of it's going to depend upon how the current state of AI plays out, you know? Like, can we figure out the energy shortage problem? Can we figure out how to make inference more cost effective, right? Like, there's a lot of things that still need to be sorted out before human written code is just completely done away with. But hopefully in 20 years, I'm 32 now. So hopefully in 20 years, I'm retiring. Hopefully that's the year I retire. And I don't have to worry about this anymore. And then I can write code for fun. And who knows, in 20 years, I might be in a whole different career, you know? I'm not a big fan of talking to LLMs all day. Why are you using terminal tabs? Just use Tmux, bro. Or it ain't working for Windows. Well, the whole just use is kind of condescending and makes you sound kind of a little bit like a douchebag. But I don't think Tmux works on Windows, and I don't mind using separate tabs. You can also Windows Terminal also supports splitting panes, so if you do want to split panes, you can do that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think Tmux works on Windows, to my knowledge. Thanks for answering. We want to see you stream and code 20 years later. I don't know, man. I'll still probably be here around here 20 years later, but it may be
Did
different.
we just become best friends?
Mr. Stod, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Okay, we've got to figure out why the disconnect's not working. The is connected being set to false should get rid of I don't understand why the navigation's not happening. And it works just fine if it's one client. So if I'm connected with one, it works fine. If I'm connected with two, it don't work. So we do enter, we do tab, escape, escape. Now we do this, we do enter, we do tab, escape, escape. Okay, so it's YouTube. So specifically, it's something with YouTube. I'm guessing something about YouTube chat client. Disconnect async if stream loop is not null. Await stream loop. This is where I need to figure out how to debug a TUI. Why do I have an error here? Is it because it's running? Will YouTube and Twitch still be around in 20 years? Will humanity be around in 20 years? Honestly, I don't know if YouTube and Twitch will be around in 20 years. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about what life will be in 20 years. Hopefully humanity will still be here. Hopefully humanity will be. That would be a pretty big bummer if it's not. Having kids makes me optimistic though. I do, you know. Okay, let's try to see if I can't figure out how to debug this. I have not figured out how to do this. I've been doing a lot of printf debugging. But let's see if I can do it. So let's set a chat view model. And let's set a breakpoint right here. And then let's try to debug. So we'll do, what is it? Leader DC. Sure, you can rebuild. That's fine. Term chat. I think it should open a separate terminal, and the TUI should just run in that separate terminal. And then we want to debug net, right? Net 10. What is it? LS source, term chat console, then debug. Why am I not getting? There we go. So we do, whoops, chat, whoops, I gave it the wrong value. No! See, this is the problem with debugging in a tiny little window. I can't reach the stop button. Alright, we're gonna have to do a big window to debug this. I am building things that are illegal for my company. Should I switch to another one? Yeah, I mean, if I was in that position, I would. I mean, that seems like a big liability. I'm not sure why, you know what I mean? Like, why would you want to take that on? Obviously, it's definitely your life, you know, but if my company had me doing something a little shady, I probably would consider moving on. Okay, so let's put a breakpoint here again. Let's do DC. We do not need to rebuild. So we want to do net 10. And debug net 10.0. And the DLL is what? The DLL should be, I think, term chat .dll. Nope, that didn't work. This is where I feel like the experience in Neovim is a little subpar compared to using something like VS Code. term chat console bin debug term chat.dll. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I typed that right. Let's try again. So we do DC, don't rebuild. It should be debug bin debug net 10.0 term chat DLL. So copy, right click, copy path. Yes. I literally just copy and paste. There we go. Okay, cool. Awesome. Now the rendering's a little off because we're in a weird terminal, but we do have a way to debug it now, so that's wonderful. What the fuck is Chinese Python? I learned about it today too. Apparently somebody has translated all of Python basically to Chinese. So keywords, warnings, error messages, all that stuff into Chinese, which I didn't know that was a thing people did. Are we doing an ad stream for Chinese Python? No, whenever I try to debug my terminal window in a really big screen like this or in a really narrow area, I can't get it to look nice like it does when I'm using a full screen monitor. So I just moved it off to the side here so I can step through it. It's one of the downfalls of trying to stream vertically on YouTube. So then we'll enter and we'll click escape. Okay, we hit the breakpoint. So we hit the breakpoint in Neovim. Booyah. Okay, now let's step over it. Step over, step over. We got our client, we're calling disconnect. Call clear. We set it to false. Well, that time it worked. What the hell? Okay. Interesting. So it works in this world. Okay, so we do.
Did we just become best friends?
Enter. Thank you very much for the follow. What was that? I am prodigal. Is that what your username was? Thank you very much. So we do. I can 100%. Okay. So it worked. So I do escape. Or no, maybe I tabbed up. Okay, there. Now it's broke. Okay, so now it's not working. Oh, no, it's working. Okay, there it didn't work. So it's like after some period of time, it just stops wanting to navigate back. But why, I don't know. That's what's weird. Sorry, I know you guys can't see a lot of what I'm looking at. It is disconnecting though, because the messages stop coming in. So it does disconnect, it just doesn't navigate. I wonder if my navigation is in the wrong place. Maybe I'm calling the navigate in the wrong place or something. Let's see, let's disconnect from the debugger. Let's go back to here. C Python is Chinese Python all this time. No, I think C Python is something wholly different, right? I cannot figure out this bug. The interesting thing is it never happens with Twitch. But it always happens with YouTube. But the code is basically identical. Now the tabs are a little different. So let's see, what if I switch tabs? Does that change the behavior at all? No. It does not change the behavior. Now what do I register? Let me see, what do I register this on? Keybinds, register, escape, handle escape. Connect and subscribe. Now I'm looking at code again. The Rust in Rust is for Russian, by the way. I don't think that's the case. I wonder if there's a favoritism, like different nationalities favor different languages. I wonder if that's an actual thing. Someone should study that. Okay, I'm going to do some research because I think it has something to do with the rendering loop and where navigate is called. I'm almost 100% certain it's me not using this library correctly. When registering routes, you can control how navigation behaves. Creates a new, reset on navigation. Creates a new page and view model on each navigation. State is reset each time. Used for pages that should start fresh. Preserve state. Reuses existing page view model instances. State persists across, navigations. Layout tree is preserved and reactivated, not disposed. Called when navigating to the page. On deactivating. Called when navigating away. For asynchronous content updates like streaming, request a UI refresh. So I wonder if it's a problem that I'm calling request with the, I don't think so. I wonder if it also could be because I'm disposing of things that I shouldn't be disposing of. So here's our disconnect logic. And disconnect is called by handling escape. And handle escape is registered when the page is navigated to. Request redraw. Focus the message input. Don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me why it's not working. But the thing is, it only doesn't work for that one platform. It works for Twitch, but doesn't work for YouTube. I'm stumped. Hold on one sec, I'm gonna close my office doors. Be careful, don't hurt each other. Let's see, nationally preferred diff languages for sure. Also, I would say different framework within diff languages, as well as tendencies on working more using specific architectures. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how that breaks down. I've noticed that it seems like a lot of good .NET developers come from like Eastern Europe. Has anyone else noticed that? It seems like there's a lot of .NET content creators and developers who are kind of like not like old USSR countries. I don't know why that is, but like Croatia, I've seen a lot of content creators from like Croatia that are .NET developers. Wait, didn't I fix that? Oh, I guess I didn't fix it down here. Don't want there to be a space there. Also, it's a long line. Hey, what's the TUI for? The TUI is for chat. So it looks like this. It's for stream chat. I'm trying to figure out a bug that has got me really, really stumped. Oh, whoops, it's already running somewhere. Where's it running? There it is. Got too many windows open. Also, good morning, King Brownie. Good to see you. It looks like this guy. So the whole idea is you can connect to your streams kind of like what you see in Twitch. If you're on Twitch and you can see I have SpeakerBot up, it's basically the same experience SpeakerBot gives you, but in the terminal. So that's the TUI we're building. And it should let me, it's like, hi, at King Brownie 207. Or I guess I probably should also do. I'm also kind of getting hungry. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Although I'm completely stumped right now because I should be able to disconnect, and whenever I do escape, nothing happens. So something is like, it's almost like the escape key is not properly registering. I'm not really sure, honestly. It's really bothering me that I can't figure this out. Navigates to, this is for input driven navigation. Escape to go back. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm escaping to go back. So why? Let's see, Termina. We're gonna have to turn to AI. Because I'm almost 100% certain that it's something with the life cycle that I've screwed up. This is the guy who maintains Termina. Let's go to Gemini. Let's import the code. I'm having a really weird bug using this Termina TUI library. Basically, I'm calling navigate to move to a new route based on a registered keybind. However, the navigation never occurs. I do see when debugging that the navigate method gets called, the TUI just doesn't render the right route. What do I want it to do? Could you take a gander at the repo and see if there is a common mistake made when calling navigate related to how Termina's render lifecycle works? Also, I don't need to ask it. I just need to tell it because it's the AI. Maybe something is eating some signal, as you said. Like maybe it could be. It does seem like it registers the escape, though. I guess that's that's something we could test, right? We could test like if we register something else to escape to see if the escape key is actually getting through. It does look like it is, though, because whenever I Oh, my YouTube access token expired. Need to reauthor authenticate. Whenever I need to, that's something else I need to fix is the refresh logic. So let's connect. So whenever I tab up, right? So basically the way this works is when I tab up to chat, that means now I can page chat up and down. And then when I hit escape, that should focus the message input box so that I can type a message. So it does register the escape. Now when I hit escape again, what should happen is it should exit back to the stream selection screen, but it's not. The weird thing is the exact same code works for Twitch. Now I'm using you guys as a rubber duck. The same exact code, if I do that same behavior, so let's tab up, we'll tab back down, or let's tab up, we'll hit escape again, and see now we're back. It kind of makes me think something's blocking in the code path that's related to YouTube. The problem is when I debug it, I can see. What the hell? Did I break Gemini? What's this? I broke it. I broke the AI. Yeah, it's super weird. It's super weird. And what's even more interesting is when I debug it. So let me show you. I can actually show you it hits the navigate call. So DT. Okay, so I set a breakpoint on the navigate call here, right? And so now what I'll do is I'm going to take Neovim off to the side so that the debugger has plenty of space to fire up. And I'm going to debug into this. So I'll do leader DC. Yes, you can go ahead and rebuild. That's fine. We want to rebuild the solution. See, based on the symptoms you described, the navigate method gets called. The TUI just doesn't render the right route. You are encountering a classic event loop synchronization issue. The wire up methods directly pass the synchronous maps2 method to your views and view models. If you call maps from an asynchronous context, however, it does not wake up the terminal's event loop. The UI won't actually re-render until the user interacts with the application again, which pushes a new event. Has built-in navigation requested events for this reason. You need to update terminal application to queue navigation events into the event channel. Okay, no, I don't want to. No, you misunderstand. I don't want to fix something in Termina. I'm talking about in the context of my own application that uses Termina. Okay, that should have built successfully. Okay, and we do not need to change, that's the right path. So now we're firing it up here. Sorry, getting a text message. All right, so the debugger is attached. So let's try to connect. So we'll just verify it works. Hello there, chat. Thanks for watching, or thanks for hanging out with me while I code without AI, like a caveman. Yep, so it works. And then if I do tab, escape, okay, that does not hit. If I do escape again, now we're in the debugger. So let's step over. So we'll step over, we'll do doop, 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 doop. We call disconnect on the YouTube client. Okay. We step over again and we lost it. So right there when we stepped over is connected.value. We should have gone back to the navigation call, but we did not. So that is an issue. So it never hits navigate. That is so weird. Okay, I just toggled that breakpoint. Yeah, so it never hits it. But it is disconnected because I can't actually see your guys' chats coming in. So it does disconnect, it just doesn't navigate. Again, it's the same. I've been saying the same thing for the last 30 minutes. What kind of work / projects do you do in the embedded systems field versus the software development field? Well, I've never worked in embedded systems, so I hate to speak to it too authoritatively, but from what I understand, it has much more to do with like working with actual hardware. Hey, Delusional Dev, good to see you, man. How you doing? Okay, what did Jim and I come up with? My apologies. Here's how terminals render. See, terminal runs on a single-threaded event loop that effectively goes to sleep until it receives an event in its channel, like a keystroke. When a key is pressed, the loop wakes up, processes your key handler, and then automatically calls a render method. However, if maps is executed from an asynchronous context or a background thread, it will successfully update terminal's internal state to the new page, but it will not wake up the render loop. The TUI will look stuck on the old route until you press another key, which forces the loop to wake up and finally render the new page. If your keybind triggers an async method and you await a task like saving data, the navigation happens on a background continuation thread. Let's see, the quick fix call, request, redraw. If your navigation must happen asynchronously, like after awaiting a database save or using RxDelay, you have to manually wake up the Termina event loop. Termina's reactive view model provides a built-in request redraw. Okay, so let's try that. Because this is happening in an asynchronous context. So let's go back. Maybe Gemini saved the day. We need the chat page. So we call disconnect, and in disconnect, we'll do view model dot request redraw. I think that's a method, right? Yeah, it's a method. Let's unset that breakpoint. Okay, now let's try. It still doesn't explain why it works for okay, so let's do this. Enter. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Doesn't work. So something it's something related to the YouTube code. Because it works for Twitch. So it's got to be something related. It's got to be related to that. Now what it would be, I don't know. So let's just test this out, right? So let's go await pass.delay. Let's just remove that code from the equation, right? This is the scientist in me debugging. Trying to isolate the variable that's causing the issue. Okay. So now let's just remove the disconnect code. Let's go back to our app. Let's run this. Doing good. How about you? Yeah, I'm good, man. It's Saturday. I'm off. There's no work. It's all play. My kids are healthy. My wife's healthy. My kids were down here in the basement just a minute ago wrestling around. Yeah, I'm doing good. Okay. Yeah, that's it. It's got to be it. All right. So let's go and debug. Sorry, Termina. It's not your fault. It's something Steven wrote. Okay. I wonder if it's the gRPC client. I wonder if something about the way it disconnects. The client does not. Oh, yeah. I wonder if it's something about the way it disconnects from the. So this is an implementation. Go to references. We want the YouTube one. Okay. So it's something in the disconnect logic of YouTube. So right here. Await. Why are we awaiting the stream loop? I guess the logic I think the logic I thought here was, so the stream cancellation token is the thing that we pass to the loop that's running in a different thread. So I don't think we need to do that here. I think we need to do that in the loop itself, right? So what we should do is we should have a try while cancellation token is cancellation requested. And I think what we should do is we should wrap this code. I think I did the same thing with the Twitch client. Let's see, Twitch chat client, receive loop, connect. No, I followed the same pattern here. Wait, receive loop. Okay, so why doesn't okay, so before we do that, Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just test our theory, right? So if our theory is that it's something in this loop that we're just waiting endlessly. So what if we just comment that piece of code out and rerun and try to narrow the problem down again? Is this it is C sharp? Yeah, it is C sharp. Stream loop can be removed. Oh, let's do discard. Stream. Oops. It is C sharp. I'm kind of a fan of C sharp, although I get a little bit of hate because of it, but you know, I'm not very I'm very agnostic, and I'm not very what's the word? Opinionated about that kind of stuff. Like I think you should use the editor you want, the language you want, like whatever makes you happy and makes you want to build stuff and learn more about computers and software. That's the stuff you should use, in my opinion. Especially in 2026. I mean, all these technologies are so mature and they've all been pretty well battle tested and proven that you can use them to do most things. So, yep, that's the issue. Okay, so I think it's something to do with the gRPC client. That's what I think is the issue. So let's leave this in. Oops. Let's go to the stream loop itself. Let's go up here and say this returns a iterable. So let's do var message responses equals. Let's pull this out of the loop. Put that there. Let's give ourselves a little bit more readable code. Like that. And then here we're going to say in message responses. Okay. Process message. Message subject on next. That's where we subscribe. Okay, I don't see a reason why this shouldn't. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to what am I going to do? Well, oh, because I can't use that in an async context. What do I want to do? I guess what I want to do is I want to verify that in the problematic case, this line of code actually gets hit. So let's debug this again. So we'll do leader DC. Do we need to rebuild? Yes, we should probably rebuild. Same thing. Do you have any advice for someone who needs to learn C#? So I would probably start with Free Code Camp certification. Do next one. I can get you the link real quick. Hold on one sec. Free Code Camp. They have a free introduction to C# course. that's a partnership with Microsoft. And that kind of is a nice way to get introduced into the basic syntax of the
Did we
language
just become
and
best
the features
friends?
of the language. Thank you for the sub, man. Appreciate that. Great something. Sorry, I couldn't read your whole username. Thank you very much for the sub. So let me link this for you. Actually, we can I can send you the link using my term chat. Let's see, what was your name? Do X1. Try that out. I think you'll like that. All right, let's do escape. It does. It does hit it. You can see we hit the problematic loop. And we're just sitting there. Waiting. So it doesn't look like that cancellation token is being honored, does it? Oh my gosh, bro. I made a really dumb mistake, and when I show it to you guys are gonna think I'm an idiot that I overlooked this. Hold on. Let me verify this real quick. You guys are gonna think I'm so dumb. This is what live streaming your code on the internet does for you, I guess. Oh no, never mind. Never mind. I don't think I did anything wrong. Hey, what's up, Gosling? Okay, I thought I had a beat on the issue, but I don't. Okay, let me read about YouTube's gRPC. .NET gRPC client cancellation stream messages async not working. Let's see, if the stream ticks very slowly or not at all, this could be some time. When the server does tick, it then falls into the server call handler. Let's see. I notice a cancellation of the streaming method call like below. You get an RPC exception when this is even a unit test. It almost doesn't seem like the cancellation is even being requested, you know? This is very old. This is a very old issue. Let's see, canceling an RPC call on the client side. A client cancels an RPC call by calling a method on the call object, or in some languages on the accompanying context object. While gRPC clients do not provide additional details to the server, the cancel API call takes a string describing the reason. This is the Twitch client. This is the YouTube client. Dude, this is going to be one of those ones when I figure it out, there's going to be so much dopamine. So there's my stream loop. My stream loop is created up here. Okay, I just want to, oh God, what have I done? Okay, a DT. I just want to explore a little bit. Here we go, we're gonna go back up here. This is in the Twitch client. Let's set a breakpoint there. Let's run this in the, we're gonna set a breakpoint here. Gosh dang, I keep doing that. Leader DT. Okay, now leader DC. Do we need to rebuild? No, we do not. That is the correct path. Alright, so we connect to Twitch. You say, hi guys. I'm sorry I can't fix this bug quickly. So that works. Then if we hit escape, that goes back. So we never actually hit that. We don't even hit that operation canceled breakpoint there. Interesting. Okay, and we do the same thing here. Hi, YouTube. And we do obviously that doesn't. Oh, it does work. It's so it is still connected. Oh no, no, it's not connected. Sorry, I'm not using the same connection to send messages as I used to receive them. So it is the receiving loop is dead at this point, but it doesn't explain why we just hang here. This is so fascinating that I built myself a bug that I can't can't solve. Let's see. I'm just gonna comment that out. Leader DC. No, we do not need to rebuild. It's still the same path. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so that didn't fix anything. Interesting. So it's not that guy. Is it this guy? Oh, shoot, I'm an idiot. It is that guy. I just need to rebuild the solution because I commented it out. So yes, we want to rebuild. Sorry, I'm having to do this off screen because I can't debug on a vertical window. It's too little real estate. Yes, rebuild it. Hey, what's up, Nick Demon? Hello, Duck Boy. Welcome back. No. Okay, so that is it. It's blocking on the stream loop. Alright, I'm gonna try something. Let's see, escape. Bro. Oh shit. Now it won't even. Okay. That's not gonna work. I really do think it's something with the gRPC client. I guess I could always just not wait on the loop, but I don't think that's probably the right thing to do. Why gRPC? Because that is there's two ways to handle YouTube. The YouTube Data API has two ways to receive YouTube Data API live stream chat. So you can do stream list, and stream list allows you to connect on a server side connection. Where is it? Where do they talk about this? I think it's this one, yeah. I think list. The list one is where they give you a polling interval, so you basically have to sit there and call, right? And then the other one, stream list, works on a server-side connection where they send you when they're available. But this is only available over gRPC. You can't do it over WebSocket or HTTP. But I don't understand. Excuse me. I feel like, though, my code should work. So while the cancellation token is cancellation requested, var message responses is stream message async. We get the iterator. We then iterate over it. Wholesome stream. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, it's a nice, quiet little time channel over here. You know, we like to drink coffee and write code like our ancestors used to. We have fun. Mochi Mochi Yo-Yo, do you remember me? I do remember you, Mochi. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. .NET. I'm actually going to ask Gemini. Because I'm at my wit's end here. I don't understand how to get this loop to stop running. Or maybe, I guess it could be that I'm still not completely understanding the problem. So let's see if we set a breakpoint here. If what I think is happening is really happening, we should just continually be hitting this breakpoint. So we should do, let's see, let's set a breakpoint up here. Leader DT, leader DT. And then let's do leader DC. Let's go ahead and rebuild. Homework goes burr. Dude, I am not jealous of you. Homework sucks. School sucked in general. I was so glad to be done with school. I liked college a lot. I was not a big fan of primary or secondary school. Aside from playing football, that was about the only thing that I was excited about. Twitch has 2 viewers. Oh, I should probably get the viewers from YouTube too, shouldn't I? Let's see. Yes, connect. Okay. Any tips on studying operating systems? It's my current course. Not really. I haven't really done anything with operating systems myself. Most of my development has been sort of at the application level, so a lot of web development, a lot of like CLI tools, things like that. So I don't really have much experience with doing that type of low-level development or programming. Oh, it's back. I'm just going to let this run and see if I hit that breakpoint. So maybe that's not the issue? Dude, I'm so confused. Maybe I need to go eat some lunch. What time is it? Is it noon? How long have I been live? Let's see. 3 hours, something like that? Only an hour and a half? Oh my gosh. It feels like it's been forever. I've been stuck on this bug the whole freaking time. Okay, so that's definitely not it then. Step into. So the thing is, the escape button is getting through. The stream loop is not null. Okay, so sorry, I know you guys can't see any of this. It's just it's much easier to do this in a bigger window. So cancel gets called. Damn, man. We cannot figure it out. I'm stumped. Classic. Google Docs famously confusing. Google Docs are confusing. I don't know why they're like that. You would think a company that big, they could have some kick-ass. Some kick-ass docs, but apparently not. Well, we tried this. Keep it synchronous. And your model's on activated. Check the handler maps is being called. If it is wrapped in an async task or an RX operator, that shifts threads. Adding request redraw might right after your maps call should force the TUI to render. See, it doesn't. What's confusing about all this is the Twitch connection works, which makes me think that all the TUI code is correct. It makes me think there is some special thing about the YouTube chat connection and the gRPC connection in particular, because the Twitch doesn't use that. Twitch uses a WebSocket that is preventing that connection from closing. What if, hear me out. What if this? What if we come down here? First and foremost, I need to add logging to this application. That would make my life a lot easier from a debug standpoint. What if we go to the chat page, YouTube chat. What if we come here and instead of catching this, we just catch a blanket exception. And we're going to disable that here. So I think this is like, what is it? Pragma. Is it? How do you write the thing? Where's my browser? Pragma disable warning.
Did we just become best friends?
Matt, thank you very much for the follow. I very much appreciate that. Super, super kind of you. Pragma warning disable. What was the warning? Oh, it's gone now. That's enough. Okay, let's try to do that now. .NET run. Maybe it's throwing an exception. Maybe it's not throwing an operation canceled exception. Could that be it? Hi, chat. We are still debugging the disconnect issue from 45 minutes ago. Shit, that was it. What is it? So what is it throwing? That was the problem. We were just catching the wrong exception. And I guarantee you, if I go look at this stream messages async documentation, I bet that's what it says. That's what I should have went and looked at. gRPC client GitHub. I think this is what we're using, right? God dang it, I got too many windows going on. Dude, that's gonna... I'm glad I got to the point where I was just throwing stuff against the wall to see it stick, see what would stick, but... So that was the problem. Okay, so what I need to do in turn... So basically, my code was encountering an unhandled exception, but there was no evidence of the unhandled exception. So I need to figure out how Termina deals with that. There must be some way in my Termina app to like catch and alert the fact that there's an exception happening that I'm not aware of. Okay. So let's go to...
Did we just become best friends?
Cage David, thanks for the follow. Very much appreciate that. It's super kind. My Twitch channel is very small, so I appreciate every follow I get over there. Yo, can you tell me where the stream messages async method is? See how fast Copilot is. gRPC, client. Still thinking. Oh, is it back? That is the wrong client. It's this one. Go to file, client. Those are all examples. Client base. Write message async, read message async, streaming, writing, reading, general streaming interface for writing streams. Could you provide more context about what you're trying to do with? I just want to find, let's see. The search didn't find a method, but there is a method because I'm using it. I'm using it right here. Oh shit. That's my method. Okay. Where are we? Call response, read all async. That's what I'm looking for. Stream list, read all async. I'm looking for read all async. Hey bro, what is your experience with the EF core reading tons of data? I think you asked me the same question the other day, and I told you I have not worked with EF core in large data sets. And when you say large data, I take that to mean like gigabytes of data. Returns created, cancel. So what throws? Okay, so maybe Copilot can help me. When the cancellation token is canceled, what exception does the gRPC client throw? XCMG, good stream, just listening. Well, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate you. I don't know if I'm doing anything particularly productive at this point. Now I'm just trying to really understand. This is the first time I've ever worked with gRPC really in an application. Let's see, by default, when throw operation canceled equals false, RPC exception is thrown with status code canceled. When throw operation canceled on equals true, so you can set that as an option. So default, but the match is the channels controls whether throw. Oh man, that's so annoying that I did not know that, but I'm glad I know it now. So where's the channel? Channel right here for address. Okay. So there is an option, I'm guessing, here that I can set called throw on there's address, gRPC channel options. gRPC channel options. Okay, so we can actually fix the code by fixing it here, actually. So there's probably a couple ways we could do it. So back in our loop, we could either do it like this, where is it? So we could either listen for an RPC exception, like that. Or I think what we can do is we can set this back to the way it was, and we can modify the client here when we're creating the address. I think what we can do is we can say var channel options equals new gRPC channel options. And I'm guessing this has an on. Yeah, there we go. Throw operation canceled equals true. Okay, that was 45 minutes of my life. But man, I feel such like a baller now because I figured it out. And I didn't even have to use AI. Well, I tried to use AI, but AI could not help me. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so now let's rerun the test. So let's go back here. We should probably have a test for that, actually. Probably should have a unit test. I figured it out. Who even needs AI? You think I can send emojis in this thing? No. Oh, I can. Nice. Hooray! Okay. So then the moment of truth. When I hit escape, we should go back to the stream selection page. I came, I saw, I conquered. That was a nasty one. Very subtle bug. Very subtle bug. Cool. That's cool. Just seen that happen. Yeah, I figured it out. We've been stuck on that, Travis, for like 45 minutes. Let the dopamine flow. God dang, heck yeah. That definitely deserves its own commit, I think, don't you think? LG. Oh, we need to delete that. I have a somewhere in here I have a file dot append. Yeah. We need to remove this. That was a debug thing. And we need to go down here, delete that, close. Okay, what did I change here? Fix, no, refactor, use block body, block method body. For remove need list comment. I don't remember what I changed here. Oh, that's just formatting stuff. Format. That was also formatting related stuff. Okay, this is where we actually fixed it. So, refactor, make a bit more readable. This is just a new line. Okay, this was the real fix. Make gRPC client row operation canceled whenever, excuse me, whenever token is canceled. I think that's how you spell canceled. Cool. Cool. All right, what else do we want to tackle now? Recap, debug, and fix. Okay, so here was the problem. Is the bug? Oh, my freaking YouTube token! I gotta fix. That's the next thing we should fix. Is the refresh. Let me. I'll recap it in just a sec. Let me refresh my YouTube token. All right.
Did we just become best friends?
The Hecky, thanks for subbing. Appreciate that. Oh, gosh dang it. We need to fix that too. All right, so the way this application works is it takes my OAuth token that I have for Twitch and YouTube, and it goes out and it figures out if I'm live on either of those platforms. Then it lists any live streams here. The problem is once I was connected specifically to the YouTube stream, so I could see chat coming in. So let's say I send a chat message, and then I'll be able to see that chat. So once I was connected here, if I tried to hit escape, which should take me back to the stream selection page, it was dying, basically. Like it would just lock up. And the reason it was locking up was because it was encountering an exception that I wasn't handling in my code. But the confusing part about it was that the exception that I expected to be thrown wasn't being thrown. It was a different exception. So when we look at the code for this, and you can see now also, by the way, it works now. So if I hit escape, we go back to the stream selection. So it wasn't doing that before. The reason it wasn't doing that before is if we go to the code, excuse me, and we hop down to the YouTube chat client, we have this loop that is running on a background thread. And basically that loop is running this method, stream loop async, which is basically using under the hood, it's using a gRPC client to establish a connection with YouTube servers, and YouTube servers are pushing me messages. And whenever you cancel that connection, so if we go to the implementation of this, you can see here, this is where I'm using a gRPC client to connect. Right here, I create the gRPC channel, and then right here I start listening, and I create that connection. So by default, the way this is implemented, this is not my library. This is the gRPC.net.client library. The way this is implemented is by default, whenever you cancel the token that you passed in, this thing is going to throw a RPC exception. RPC exception. Right here. And what I was expecting it to throw, let me go back up to the chat client. What I was expecting it to throw is an operation canceled exception. So in my UI code or in my TUI code, we call this disconnect async. Whenever you hit escape, we call this disconnect async method. Then we cancel the token that's controlling that loop that's in the background, because since we fired it and forgot it, it's running on that thread, and the only way we can stop it is with a cancellation token. So whenever we hit disconnect, we want to stop listening for messages on that gRPC channel. So we have to call cancel. Now, normally what would happen is then you say, okay, call cancel, and then the task that you have to hold on to a reference to the task that cancellation token is going to cancel. Is then we should wait for that. We should block on that task with the await keyword here. And then whenever that cancellation token actually, propagates through, or the cancellation propagates through, my expectation is that we'd get an exception thrown up, which is specifically an operation canceled exception. But really what was happening was we were throwing an RPC exception. So this catch block would never run. The exception would go to the top of our application, and we wouldn't call the code that was necessary to navigate to the right page. So the way to fix this, there's two ways it could have fixed it. We could have, instead of catching an operation canceled exception, we could have caught an RPC exception. Or the way I fixed it in this case is whenever we're connecting here, when we're creating this channel, and again, this is just specific to this .NET library. When we're creating this channel, we can set this particular option to true, which means now when the token is canceled, we'll throw the exception that we were originally trying to catch. Now, the one shortcoming I feel like on my part in this whole scenario is the fact that an exception was occurring, but there was no visual indication, and I have no logging set up yet. So there was no way to know that there was something was erroring and I wasn't aware of it. So I need to figure that out. How to do better with that. So this is why, this is a good example of why silent crashes or quietly crashing is much worse than just outright breaking in a lot of scenarios. Because if the code was written in such a way where an unhandled exception just immediately panicked and exited the program, it would have been much more obvious to me what was happening. So I don't know if that's a me problem or if that's a Termina problem. Termina is the framework I'm using for the TUI. Let's do exception. Let's see, this is, I don't use that. I don't use that. Add Termina file tracing. What's that? Production errors and warnings. The file trace listener uses async IO, always disposed properly to flush pending events. Okay. Diagnostic tracing. Termina includes a built-in diagnostic tracing system for debugging and monitoring your TUI app. Okay, so this is something I just didn't know about. Tracing is completely disabled by default. With no listeners configured, all trace calls are no ops with sub-nanosecond overhead and 0 allocations. Enable file tracing or with category level filtering. Route Termina traces to your existing logging infrastructure. Quick debugging. For quick debugging without file IO, okay, so I wonder, I'm curious, let's try to enable this, and maybe this would have saved me a bunch of time. So let's try enabling this, and then we'll put the bug back and see if we see this occurring. So let's go to, where were we? Here. So let's introduce the bug again. So let's just try to catch an RPC exception. Which is not what, it's not going to work, or shouldn't work. And let's go to our program code. And here we're going to do Why did I do that? That's dumb. You ever look at code and be like, why? What was I thinking last night? In the light of day, things look a lot different. So what was it? What was the dependency method called? It's add terminal file tracing. Copy. Add terminal file tracing. I'm going to put that down here. Yep. Okay. Remove unnecessary imports, unnecessary using directive. Huh. To figure that out. Don't get distracted. Now let's rerun the application. And my hope is now when I encounter this bug, we'll have some sort of log file that we can look for. I'm not sure where it's going to be. Hi, chat. So we're connected. And then we do escape. Nothing works, so there should be an exception somewhere. So this is debug. Nope. I don't see. Yep, I don't see anything there. Huh. Very interesting. Content preview. No. So that's not helpful. I thought maybe that would be helpful. That's not helpful. So where's that exception going? If we're not catching it there, who is catching it and what are they doing with it? Because right now it just breaks everything. Am I on the right version? I feel like I'm not on the right version. No, I am. Okay. Error handling. Handle after fail. No, that's not what I care about. Somebody's catching this, and I don't know who it is, but someone is catching this exception and it's swallowing it. And I don't know if it's my code or if it's... There's no information here. We're going back to AI. Do I already have that? I think I already have that in a particular chat already. There we go. Here we go. How does Termina handle exceptions? I have a case where I know my application code is throwing an exception, but it appears to be being eaten. I guess we should also, before we start accusing the framework, we should also figure out if my code is the one doing the eating. That would probably be a good step one. Let's turn that off. Go down here, delete that. We are going to add logging though. Could not remove. Why can't you remove it? The lead Drexy. I'm proud of you. See, you can still code and use some AI. Well, yeah, Gemini. I bring Gemini in whenever the problem's above my head. You know. Although I will say AI let me down. I worked on a bug for like 45 minutes before you got here, Ledger, and it was pretty unhelpful. Let's see. Termina heavily relies on the R3 library for reactive programming. When an exception is thrown inside an observable chain, for example, inside, it does not bubble up to the main thread inside. R3 catches it and routes it to a global handler. How Termina routes RX exceptions. When terminal application is initialized, it registers a handler with R3's observable system to prevent these reactive exceptions from silently crashing the background task. You can use this in the Termina application constructor. As you can see, the exception is caught and forwarded to Terminal's internal diagnostics tracer, terminal trace. It does not display on the screen or crash the UI. To actually see these exceptions while developing, you'll need to enable Well, isn't that what we just did? To handle exceptions in your code. Oh, that's kind of interesting. If you have ITOS service injected. I kinda want to do this. So it's saying though I should be able to see it if I do this, is what it's saying. But I don't know if I believe that. Yeah, I don't know if I believe this. Are you calling me a liar? Yes, I am calling you a liar. Debug Master, hello. I like your username. I could have used your help, Debug Master, a little while ago. Remove terminal. Because it is used by another process. Who's using it? Is it the Neovim process? Must be. Oh, I bet it's this. That's probably what it is. Yeah, that was what it was. I got too many windows. I wouldn't say I'm a master yet. I just finished college and now looking for a software job, but the market is tough. Well, awesome, man. Well, I wish you all the best of luck and encouragement as you look. I have heard some horror stories about the market, but I do believe if you're enthusiastic and you're passionate and you want to work in that field, and you stick with it and you're persistent, I guarantee there's somebody out there who's willing to give you a shot. You know what I mean? And maybe it's not starting as a programmer or a developer or engineer. Maybe you have to start in some other position and like work your way over there, but I'm rooting for you. Hindsight, figuring out a bug without internal tool is a fantastic way. Deep understanding of what the system is truly doing. It's so true. Like for example, I learned about gRPC and I wouldn't have known all these details about the gRPC client if I hadn't sat down to do this work. So yeah, for sure. This type of pain that you deal with while you're programming is why it's the reason why so many of the programmers that we all respect and look up to are so freaking good and they're so knowledgeable, is because they've put in so much time and so many reps doing this type of work where they really have to dig in and understand the nitty-gritty details. And unfortunately, people continue to tell me that stuff doesn't matter and that AI makes all that work and effort not valuable. I don't know if I believe that, but that's what people keep telling me. but I know fundamentally that's why people like David Fowler, Scott Hanselman, um, you know, John Carmack, all these guys that we all like look up to and aspire to, you know, they had to do this work of like crawling over code and digging into the weeds and really sussing out the nitty gritty. And that's why it's fun to listen to them talk. Philly, like, can you use a debugger here or no? You can use a debugger. And you know what? Now that you say that, I think if I had debugged this inside VS Code, I might have seen the unhandled exception. Now that you say that. But yeah, the debugger should have caught an exception. See, I think, well, it's not an unhandled. That's the problem. It's not an unhandled exception. It's being handled in a very specific. That was the problem. So it wasn't really that the debugger wasn't helpful. It's that the framework that I'm using is called Termina, and they have a global exception handler. And so because my code wasn't catching the particular exception that was being thrown, the global handler was. I obviously didn't know about this global handler, so another knowledge gap there that could have saved me some time. So to me, it just looked like it was silently failing, is what was so confusing to me about it all. But we fixed it now. I just want to add some way to have a view into these errors in the future so that when this does happen again to me, which I'm sure it will as I'm building this application, I want to be able to go and look someplace for the issue. Okay, this is all hallucinated, I guess. You proved today AI always can't always be reliable. You need your experience and knowledge to fix it. Yeah, you kind of need persistence, like a willingness not to give up. Yeah. Trace. Okay. How do we add it? Add file tracing. Trace level debug. I think I want to add Serilog to this application and just use Serilog and then write all the Terminus stuff to Serilog is I think what I'll do. But for now, I just want to get this working. So I don't want a category. I just want a level, minimum level. Minimum level. See, warning. I guess we want error. I mean, minimum level can be debugged. That's fine. The problem is I don't. That's the other problem, though. I don't see the error. All right, real quick, before we do anything further, let's trace this code real quick. We want disconnect, handle escape. So this is registered as a listener. Disconnect is here. Disconnect goes here. We do not have any try catch wrappers here. Go to the implementation for YouTube. We don't have any try catch here. We do have a try catch here that's looking for a very specific exception, which is not what's going to be thrown. So it should get bubbled up. So let's make sure we write all our changes out. Let's do .NET Run. Let's say you have a well-structured code base, and AI will pick up on that. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I'll never argue that. I'm not ever going to argue with anybody that AI can't be useful. It's just a matter of how much you want to use it and where you want to use it. And then when it comes to your job, I guess it's how much your boss wants you to use it. AI really is an extension of you. If you're a lazy coder, you will definitely have a lazy AI. Interesting. Interesting thoughts. How long have you been coding for? About 5 years, about 5, 6 years. I originally learned to code in 2015 when I was in college. I took some elective courses, and then I went off and had a different career for several years, and then I came back to coding in like 2020. Yeah, when I made the career change is when I started getting back into it seriously. Was listening to yesterday's VOD for your question on how to jump back and forth between code. Um, apostrophe is the motion. Help jump motions has more info. Ooh, that, well, first of all, the fact that you were listening to my VOD, that's crazy to me that anyone would do that. So thank you, one, for showing some of my content a little attention, and then double thank you for be willing to come find me today to help answer that question, because yeah, I felt very much like I was stumbling around in that code base yesterday trying to get to where I wanted to go. So you're saying apostrophe. Okay, so if I'm here and I go to like 100 and I do apostrophe, what does that do? Back to line in current. Oh, okay. So let's say I'm here and I want to go up to disconnect async, which is 25 lines up. Oh shit, how do I disconnect async? Apostrophe. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely put that to use. Thank you very much. That's super nice of you to do that. My first line of code was 2022. I still remember my professor asking us how we think we would print hello world to the console. Nice, dude. Yeah. I love to code. Do you work for a company or self? No, I work for a company. Yeah, you can actually find my LinkedIn. Excuse me. You can actually find my LinkedIn right there. It'd be cool to work for yourself, but man, that's a lot of risk, especially when you got a family and kids and stuff, you know. I just don't have the stomach for it. Not with kids in the family. All right, I'm going to do escape. So right now there should be an unhandled exception being thrown right now. Okay. Then let's do this. Platform input source loop exited, cancellation requested. Oh. Nope, that's Control C. So I don't see any evidence of an error here. So this is so weird. I don't see any evidence that an exception is being thrown. That's so weird to me. It's not helpful at all either. It's not helpful information. Ah, that's annoying. All right, so let's set it back to YouTube chat client. Let's go back here. Let's just reset to where we originally were. And let's set this back to operation canceled exception, because maybe there's some specific handling. And then let's go to the, what is it? Stream message async. Let's go to this. Let's go to the implementation for it. Let's turn this to false just for a second to see what happens. We're running experiments now. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Steven, the OS that I'm making might get procrastinated. Well, that's okay, man. You do you. You work on the projects you want to work on. Unless somebody obviously is paying you. Okay, what's that? Yeah, I do not see, to me it seems like Termina is swallowing that exception. To me. So I'm going to set that to true. I'm going to go up here to the, I'm just going to put this the way I want it. Which I don't like. That's the problem, is like I know I'm going to trip myself up over this. In the future. So I'm trying to find a way to avoid this happening again. I mean, I guess the safest way to do this is to probably handle it in the UI and to say, like if I go up here to, what was it? View model? No, chat page. And we go to disconnect. So this is where the exception is being thrown. So I guess the safest thing to do is to actually do something like this where you catch it.
Did we just become best friends?
Dalitso Banda, thanks for the sub, man. I appreciate that. Is to catch it. Now this is going to complain though, obviously, that it's too general of a catch. Which is fine. I'll just. Why are you complaining? Fix formatting. So we'll just do a little pragma warning disable. And then there should be a status. So let's do view model. Current value has observers. I don't think I'm actually going to keep this, but I'm. Let's see, let's do private. Stream title. I basically wanted to display an error message, but I'm not sure where the best place to add that is. Where did I put it here? Error bar, yeah, error bar. And then view model has an error message. So let's do this. Do same thing over here. Chat view model, go to the top. Now we have an error message. And then we'll do the same thing on that view model that we do here. Let's create an error bar. We do not have a centered status message. We just need a text node. As layout. Layout dot vertical. Dot with child. So layout vertical with child. This returns a what? Well, let's just do this. Let's make it simple. Let's make it easy on ourselves. Let's just do what? Why do you expect that? There we go. Okay, so this is should be in layout node. Okay, so then we'll say with child error bar like that. Cannot convert from layout to iLayout. Okay, so that's fine. We'll say dot as layout. Does not contain a definition for as layout. The best extension method requires a receiver type. I don't understand why the types are getting all jacked up. Okay, so that's what's on the other page. Now the other page has a method on it that builds a layout to center the error message. Center error, center status. I'm kind of losing my steam, I think. So this is a layout, vertical, returns an iLayout node. With child, which is what I want to do. And then we return an iLayout node. So what's the type of this thing? This takes a functional string and then layout node. Okay. So I feel like I should be able to duplicate this on the other page. Why is it? So we should have string I layout node. That's what we get back. And what I'm telling you is this. Now you're going to tell me that's a layout node. And I'm going to come down here and try to do this. And then you're going to tell me there's a problem, which is that this is not the right type. Now why? Because it's wrapped in an observable. But if I do as layout, what the hell? That was not working a second ago. It was definitely user error, but okay. So the whole point of this, if you haven't forgotten yet, is so that we can handle the error message. Now the question is, where does this get set at? Error message dot value equals null. Okay. So that means I should be able to come in here, and wherever the exception is being thrown, try, should be able to say stream dot value equals dot message. Oh my gosh. Okay. The whole point of this is so that we don't swallow errors. So let's see if this works. Nope, that's not what I wanted. What is TUI? The TUI is a chat app, a chat application for my streams. So hopefully in the future, instead of having StreamerBot display my messages, I'll probably still use StreamerBot to display my messages on the actual stream on YouTube. But that way, instead of using StreamerBot for chat, I can use my application for chat and just live in the terminal, which is kind of nice. Plus, I've never built a TUI before, so I wanted to try to build a TUI. What is oh, maybe you're asking, oh yeah, what is a TUI? A TUI is a terminal user interface. Yeah. If you're familiar with Claude Code or OpenCode or any of those agentic AI tools that are very popular right now, they have brought back the TUI. They have made TUIs great again. There it is. See? Look. Y'all see that? Oh yeah. So that in and of itself would have saved me an hour if I had a way to propagate unhandled exceptions to the user. That would have saved me a ton of time debugging. So I wonder how can I'm hungry, so I'm probably going to go eat lunch now. But I think the next thing I want to do in this application, toast notifications. Toast in bottom right corner. Okay, I might need to figure out how to set up a global, some sort of global reusable toast system. The problem is I need to figure out how to tap into the errors. Input handling, hosting and DI integration, service registration. Custom factories. What gets registered? Add Termina registers IANSI terminal, Termina application, Termina hosted service, I hosted start async. So what is the Termina? This runs the app. This is your main application. So what does this have on it? Terminal application. Let's see, go to file. What does this expose? So here's where it registers the Termina trace.reactive. Input, add input source, register route, register page from descriptor, navigate to. Run async. There's got to be a way. Reactive page registration. Let's look at Termina retrace.reactive. What is this? Gets the trace logger for the rendering operation, gets the trace logger for reactive subscription operations. Is enabled. Disable, should trace, write event. Category trace. So obviously you can use this to add your own traces, right? But I basically just want to hook into this that says whenever there's an exception, whenever this thing encounters an exception, put it in a listen. Oh, I wonder. Okay, I have an idea. There should be a way. Where's the search? There we go. Trace. There should be a listener that we can implement, I think. See, new file trace listener. What's this? Can we implement against this? Let's see. There should be a way. I'm hoping this is like a interface or something. Yes. iTerminal trace listener. And what does that have to implement in order to work? So we have to implement write and is enabled. So we get a trace event. And then we decide what happens. So if we had something like an iToast terminal trace listener or something, that whenever write is called, we I guess have some sort of observable that we can inject into our application, and basically whenever something is received, we can react to it. Right? That's basically what we want to do. We want to react to the trace event. Now, how does the file tracer work? The file tracer is here. So if disposed, it just returns immediately. Otherwise, non-blocking push to channel. So it uses a channel internally. That makes sense, probably. Now, what does consume events? What does that do? So it just reads from that channel. It takes the format event, takes the writer, writes it to the file. Don't let trace errors crash the app. Write to standard error as last resort. Await console.error. .write line async. Terminal trace consumer error. Catch. Okay. I think I know what we can do. I'm not sure how to propagate this. So this is writing to a file, and so what we'd want to do is we'd want to take the event, I guess, and write it to like an observable or something that then notifies the UI that you need some, you have a new trace event, and then I guess at the page level. Now I'm just thinking out loud. I really don't know what I'm doing. Which program? This is C#. This is C#. But this would have saved me so much time. I got to figure a way how to do this, because that was basically almost a full day lost to a swallowed exception. Let me put this back to where it was. I'm gonna go eat lunch. I think now that we spent a whole day on a bug that was actually super, super simple. And this is correct. But let's just go to lazy git. What did I change here? We want to discard that. We don't want to keep that. We don't need to keep any of this, I don't think. Yeah, we don't need to keep any of that. Git status. Git. What is it? Stash. Git stash drop. Whoops. All right. Last thing let's do. Let's actually publish this, and then let's try to use it for a little bit. So I'm going to take this off the screen. And if this is it's AOT compiled too, so it should be pretty speedy. Takes a little bit longer to compile it, but it should be pretty speedy startup. And it should just be a single standalone binary too when it's published. It's pretty nice. Let's go to that. Okay, yep, there it is right there. And then I think there's also a native one. Yeah, this is the one we want. Okay. So let's actually run this guy. So I'll do Control-Shift-New, create us a new terminal. And make this a little bigger. Connect. Click enter, and then let's see what happens. If anyone's still here, I don't know if anybody's here. Hello? There we go. I appreciate you guys hanging around with me. I know this has not been the most exciting of streams, but I actually, that's probably the most fun I've had in a little while. Kirby, you must give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you very much. I would love to do that. I'm glad I stuck with it because there was a point in time where I was completely just defeated. Completely defeated. It was interesting. Debugging is hard, man. Debugging can be really difficult. It can be very tricky. It can be really tricky when it's non-obvious, right? I think that's probably like the biggest takeaway from today, right? Is just how important it is for failing. When things fail, it should be obvious that they fail, right? When it's not obvious, it makes figuring out what's going wrong really painful. I think that's why like I've heard who is it? The Primogen? I've heard him talk about like negative space programming and like using asserts in your code base strategically to basically sort of be like, this absolutely should never happen, and if it does, the whole world is invalid and therefore stop the program. Oh, there's you go. King Brownie just said what I said. Yeah, that's why I like using asserts. My world will crash if things don't work right. Yep. Cage David, this is the Twitch world. Hello, Cage David. You guys don't even understand. This is literally months of effort of getting this thing functional. I've been stopping and starting and stalling on this project for. Let me go back and see when I made my first video about it. I think I made it like before the end of 2025. I can't believe it's actually working. It's working! Yeah, I started trying to make a series about it and I kind of fell off. So 2 months. It's been 2 months, I guess. It feels longer. When did I publish this? 2 months ago? I don't know. January 6th. Yeah, so this is like 2 months and I finally got it working. Fuck yeah. I'm so excited. AI likes to make things fail silently, though, I've noticed. Yeah, the other thing I noticed with AI is AI will do like hacky stuff to work around issues. Like the other day, what was it? The other day, I was doing something in like a JavaScript project, and when it was running npm install, there was vulnerabilities, and so it just started like adding overrides to the dependencies. And I thought, that's so hacky. That's probably not the right thing, but it does eliminate the error, right? It also did it with like analyzer warnings in .NET. Sometimes I'll notice that whenever it sees analyzer warnings, it will be very quick to disable the warning instead of actually addressing the root cause of the warning, which seems odd that it does that by default. Not entirely helpful, but what are you going to do? It's useful when it is, and it's not useful when it's not. So today it was not very useful to me, but I definitely have gotten a lot of use out of AI in the past. I just worry. I know I've said this 1,000 times on stream. I still just worry that, like today, if I had been vibe coding all this, I wouldn't have probably learned anything. Like I wouldn't have figured out that gRPC throws an RPC exception instead of an operation canceled exception when you try to cancel a long running task with that client. Now, somebody out there is going to say, like, well, why does that matter that you know that? And I guess it doesn't really, but it sure makes me feel a whole lot more competent and capable in the future going forward. AI is a weird thing. I'm not really sure how to navigate it other than to be aware of it, to be familiar with it, and to keep making sure I make time to write code by myself and build projects like this without AI. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to quit and start over. Knowing things is valuable in its own right. I think so, but some people aren't super into that idea. I have a coworker, fantastic with building with AI, but is horrible at debugging. It's very interesting. I love hearing about everybody's AI experiences. There was something I wanted to fix in the app. What was it? So we have Twitch, we have YouTube, we have Unified. We can disconnect and reconnect. There was something though I noticed that I wanted to fix. What was it? Oh, the refresh. That was it. That was what it was. So I noticed that where is it? In the core project, where is it? Core. And then in YouTube, we have the API client. Now, where do we get our token from when we call this? Access token. So that's being passed in at a higher level. So we must be getting that from the chat client. Nope, that's also being passed in. So where did I put that? Connect async. Run loop. Access token. We store that. So this is going to be a problem. The way I wrote this is a problem because the access token can expire while the application is running, and if it does, we need a way to refresh it. So holding on to a reference to it is not going to work. We're actually going to need to client.connect. There's the token.access token. So this is where we get it, is when we initially connect, we're getting it. So actually, I think what we need to do is we need to bring the token logic into the clients because we need to be able to refresh it. Yeah. Okay, I don't have the stomach to do this yet. I can't do this on an empty stomach. I need to go eat lunch. But I think that's what I'm going to do today is implement the refresh logic. So I'm just going to add a note here. Let's go to the iToken store. And anytime we're getting the token, this actually needs to happen. Anytime we're getting the token, we need to also proactively refresh it. And getting the token needs to happen prior to any calls that we make. So this needs to happen other places. Where does it happen right now? Storage. That's the file token. This is the what is this? Token what? Token refresh service. I don't think we need this anymore. So wherever it's used right here. So to do this, no work anymore because the access token will expire. It could expire while the application is running. Currently, that would leave us in a broken state. What we need to do is move the retrieval of the token well, see, the token's stored on disk, so accessing the disk every time we want to make a request is probably not the right thing. Okay, we need to do is what we need to do is be able So one of two things, we could do this one of two ways. We could start a background task that just monitors the tokens, and if the tokens are about ready to expire, we preemptively refresh them. But that requires the application obviously to be running. And I think a much better approach would be at the time of use, if the token fails, then we refresh it. The question is there a way to prevent reading from the disk every time we need to use the token? What we need to be able to do is ensure that we have a way to refresh the token at the time it is used and fails. But the token is stored on disk, so probably not ideal to read it from there every time. Oh, well, we don't have to. That's the thing. We don't have to. So what we can do is actually, in our token store, we can cache it in the token store and then just check it, right? So basically, application starts up. The first time get token async is called, we read it from disk, we cache it there. The next time we use the access token and it fails, the token store just refreshes that access token with the refresh token, saves it back to the disk, updating it, caches it again. That's what we should do. When get token is first called, we fetch access token from disk. If needs to be refreshed, we do that. And honestly, it doesn't even have to fail. We can just check the expiration whenever we call get token. So if needs, then cached. We also need to move this too. So we'll just say, let's say here, I'm writing this more so that I remember what to do when I come back. Move get token async call down into services where needed instead of passing access token down the call stack. When get token is first called, fetch access token from disk, then cache. Each time the token is retrieved, refresh if necessary, and if necessary, save back to disk. When successful, if a refresh fails, we need to notify the user. Oh, also, you can see, I think YouTube did fail because the messages aren't coming through from YouTube anymore. So I guarantee you if I restart the application, I bet my, yeah. So if there's the bug. There's the bug in and of itself. The application's running, the access token expires, we're in trouble. So that's a problem. So when the get token is first called, access token from disk then cache. Each time the token is retrieved, refresh if necessary. If necessary, save back to disk when successful. If a refresh fails, if a refresh hard fails, we need to notify the user that they need to re-authenticate. Yeah, I like that approach better than what I'm doing right now. Define time of use. You wouldn't get messages from chat that way. I think it would. Well, I actually don't know how it would work. Like because the Twitch chat is coming on a WebSocket and the YouTube chat's coming on a gRPC channel, we probably have to figure out how to detect when the expiration occur. Like there probably is some event that gets fired. Stream list. I like how their documentation is just a YouTube example. Or I mean a Python example. There's probably a way to know. Let's see. Full details, new sponsor, message deleted, message retracted. Invalid type. There's got to be a way to like know whenever your access token is no longer good and detect that, and that's when we want to refresh it. So really the clients themselves, these API clients and these chat client implementations, they should really take instead of storing the access token, they really should store a reference to the token store, and they should go through the token store to get the access token. And when they go through the token store takes care of the maintenance of the token. And then that way it centralizes all in one place. And then we can have some exception that propagates up if it fails. That's what I'm thinking right now. I could decide to do something later, but I just don't know how I'm guessing there's some sort of message here that I can listen to. Sponsor only mode, text message event. Is there like a user banned, deleted event, valid type? I don't know what happens. I guess maybe it throws an RPC exception, so maybe we need to add another catch up here that is something like catch RPC exception see if this has any type of data, message, source, status code. Oh, there's a status code. So I wonder if you can detect like a 403 or something. All right, more to come. I don't know how much I'll continue to work on the TUI on stream. I just thought it was interesting to work on it today. I've been working on it for the last couple months. I just haven't been doing it on stream. But you should see more of it on stream, hopefully, if I get it fully functional. My plan is to use it. Did we just become best friends? Nerfa, thanks for subbing, man. I appreciate you. Hello, Dev Voyage AI. Good to see you. Dealing with token expiration? Exactly. We need to deal with token expiration in a smart, centralized, robust way. But for now, I'm going to go eat lunch because I'm super hungry. Let's see. Knowledge is power. AI made me lazy, but I'm slowly learning when and how to use it. My code is looking better, and I know how to fix a lot of it. Nice. Very cool. Hey, Steven, what is Term Chat? Oh, Term Chat is this application that I've been building on the side to basically use to manage my chat in stream, but do it from the terminal. I can show a little quick demo for you if you're interested. So in this example, you'll see I've got Twitch, but I can also show YouTube too. I just have to re-authenticate real quick. And so now, if we go back to the stream selection page, you'll see I have both my streams, my Twitch stream, my YouTube stream, and we can connect to them. And then when messages come through, we should see them all in one pane of glass. I already have an application that does that. This called StreamerBot. That was largely the inspiration for this TUI. I just thought it would be fun to be able to do it in the terminal. So yeah, something new or interesting. All right, I'm going to go eat lunch. So if you're new here and you want to come back and hang out on stream, the best place to find us is live on YouTube or Twitch, normally from about 4:15 a.m. to 7 a.m. Central Time. So it's normally very early in the morning. If you want to hang out outside stream, the best place to find us is Discord. And I'll put that link in the chat as well. It's just discord.stevenfreeborn.com. And you're more than welcome to come and stop by and hang out there. Thompson, if it's a JWT, actually, it should be in the payload. If you just base 64 decode it, yes. So I do have the expires in time. I just need to centralize the logic for like how we refresh it. I have a refresh service that I wrote originally thinking that I would have it run in a background task. But now I'm not so certain I like that idea. So this was how I originally implemented it, but I'm not sure if I like it. But I can use it. So if I go to Oh, I need to start the loop. But this was my original thought. But I don't think I like this idea. I think I like moving this to time of use. Is what I think. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'm hungry. All right. Bye, y'all. You guys have a good day. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. I'll see you maybe tomorrow morning. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. Okay, bye. See you guys. Have a good day.